Hey, what's up? So I'm already ready to uninstall and forget that this game exists at all. So I figured I'd share my notes now. So I started out good, started out really liking the game a lot. Let me see, what do I have here? I'm gonna get into my notes. I was really into it. I like the music, combat generally. As fun as I expected it to be until my breaking point, and I'll explain why. But let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, part of it. These are a few of the good notes. Most of I have a lot of complaints just because that was the majority of stuff I was noticing and writing down as I was playing it. Not because I hated the game, but because these things that stand out. I do talk about these things in any of the games that I love. But so a few of the cool things right away has some of the coolest loading screens and animations in the loading screens that I've ever seen. And I can't remember off the top of my head what other games have really cool loading screens, but I know there are some. Like there have been other games when I've been like, oh man, these loading screens are awesome. This is definitely one of them with the best ever loading screens I've ever seen. That includes when you well, it's not the same when you die and load. It's a much shorter screen, but it's based like when you leave the game and come back in and stuff. Yeah, it's just really cool. Anyways, I actually really like the freaking dog, man. I really like the chopping the trees. It's pretty cool. I like that the precision aiming for it, and what's really cool that makes it not so tedious is that it takes a few chops. So the mechanic to chopping down trees and cutting them up and getting the logs from them and stuff is pretty cool and doesn't take forever. So that's neat. So there's like at least it feels interactive, right? And it's not too slow and boring. So it's a cool thing to do it, and it's quick enough not to get quickly bored and sick of doing it. So I like that. I thought that was cool. I had not gotten into mining yet, and I'm assuming that it's probably very similar. Let's see. The inventory is consistently upgrading itself with quest completions, and you can also buy bags from vendors, which that was cool because the very first thing I noticed, especially being a person who likes to loot things, the inventory was quickly too small. But it doesn't take too long, and you do, as you continue to play throughout the game, you consistently are kind of often upgrading how many slots you have in your inventory, which is cool. I still had a lot of dealing with the micromanagement of selling off stuff, but another thing that's a part of that is, much like the Elder Scrolls games and similar games like that, you're really not meant to loot everything. You can loot just never-ending junk, like jugs, mugs, and even insects and bugs and all this stuff that you don't need to loot. This, right? So if you're enjoy, like, you play looter shooters or Diablo and stuff like that, you loot a lot, right? This is not it. This is not a game where you're supposed to loot every single thing. You're not supposed to, so just don't. But what is a little bit of a problem with that is there's also a really cool, like, knowledge experience thing whenever you collect something new that includes insects or creatures. So of course I do loot everything, so I get that first, like, knowledge thing added to my whatever that is. So that is another reason to loot. But I started, like, as soon as I would get the knowledge thing in, I would immediately remove it from my inventory or eat the bug. I'm eating these bugs. Eats the bugs. He eats all the bugs, just so I can get them out of my inventory. They do, like, little buffs, and of course they're part of cooking recipes. But I still hadn't reached really a point where not only did I have enough inventory space to want to overload my bags with, like, all the recipe ingredients, but hadn't really gotten to a spot even after 10 hours, 11 hours, where I felt the need for food. Although now where I got them, like, it just seems like I need everything. But anyways, let's see what we have here. I'm gonna lower my audio real quick, just a tiny bit here. No, is it getting all right? Okay, so it's a little bit lower now, just so you know. One of my a small, not like exactly a complaint, but something I noticed is that every NPC that you talk to has like 2 sentences of dialogue. The normal NPCs, not quest ones, but like regular standard passerby types. They have 2 sentences that they'll say, and there's always like a pause in between the first and the second sentence. So it's just annoying. That could use some polish, speed up the dialogue, because there's this 5 to 10 second delay between these 2 sentences. It's like, what the hell? Very weird. Part of what made me want to talk to like every NPC, and I quickly got sick of that because they all say the same thing, but part of what made me want to talk to everybody is that you actually get like social experience from talking to NPCs. But it's very tiny, so my assumption is that your main reputation gain will be from like doing actual quests and stuff, not just talking to every NPC that you come across. It didn't take me too long of quickly knocking that off. It's not worth it. But I think it was cool that you get like a little reputation bonus for every NPC that you speak with and stuff. The walking pace is terrible. The default like just walking is way too slow, full on snail. It's kind of, you can get used to it and it's cool. Actually, this game reminds me a lot. You'll see it too, the comparisons between this game and something like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Mostly the simulated realism when it comes to the just basic animations and stuff. I would say it's not nearly as realistic as Red Dead Redemption 2, which made me sick. I couldn't stand it. But definitely on that level though, where it's slower and whatever. So I didn't like that. The thing that I noticed about it though that was kind of cool is if you have your weapon out, your walk is much faster. So I did that here and there. I mostly would just do the regular run, because there's your walking pace, which is incredibly slow. There's a jog, and then there's a sprint. The jog is okay. I think the jog should be the normal walking pace, really. I think it makes sense being all based on realism or whatever, But it actually reminded me a little bit of Assassin's Creed as well, with like I think Origins and Odyssey. I can't remember if Origins did it, but Odyssey and Valhalla, I believe, you can actually like go into the game settings and increase your walking default speed. So you can actually max out your walking speed to basically make it so that you were running all the time, which I have done. I do prefer that. But anyways, yeah, you had the walk, the jog, and the sprint, and not a fan of the controls exactly. You hit shift to sprint or to jog, and then you double tap shift to sprint. So it's not like harder or anything. It's just kind of, that's tedious. Especially the horse, the mounted riding. You basically have to spam shift the whole friggin' time to actually continue going fast. Oh yeah, much like Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5. So if you like that, which millions of people love those games. So, and I don't hate them. I don't like them though. I've enjoyed the story of Grand Theft Auto 5, but I didn't like the world. I thought it was empty and boring. Gameplay was cool. The action was good. Red Dead Redemption 2, that it was just, and I have probably at least 40 hours played on that, trying to enjoy it and like the world. I really like the world a lot, and I eventually plan to get into that game and complete it. But yeah, so we'll see. Whatever. The gameplay was a big fat turn off to me. So the same thing here as far as the regular walking and interacting. Although I like interacting with NPCs and objects in the game. There's a huge complaint that I've seen that's really funny to me is people don't like it because let me see if did this video freeze or something? What the hell? Because one of the first things the game tells you to do when you're interacting with items is it's giving you a tutorial right away to use precision targeting, which you don't have to do at all. But the first thing it'll tell you is like, you hold control on keyboard specifically to highlight items or NPCs and to talk to them, including precision jumping. But I have not used that almost ever. The only time you have to use it for quest NPCs, specific for story quests, but you don't have to use the targeting key for regular loot, You don't have to use it to talking to regular NPCs. You have to use it for certain quest-related items, objects, and NPCs. Even like my first time doing the first maze platforming in the floating in the air city thing, which was really cool. I did not use precision jumping. I just ran and jumped from each platform to platform. So one of the complaints that I've seen from a lot of players is they don't like the precision targeting stuff, and I'm just like, didn't these guys just figure out you don't have to use that? You know, it's just weird and funny to me. All right, let me see. I just wanted to know, make sure I said that, because I do like the actual precision targeting, especially like let's say there's a bunch of loot in one spot, and you'll be moving your mouse or whatever trying to loot something, and then it keeps changing from item to item. That's when precision targeting comes in handy. So you can pick a specific item, and it just makes it easier to highlight which item you want to pick up rather than like watch it freaking try to figure out what it's getting, you know, right? Anyways, let's see. Mouse controls for grab object too slow and unresponsive. I don't remember that. I think it might be, I'm not sure why I wrote that down. It probably got used to it and got better at that precision naming or something. I don't know. Oh, insect loot doesn't stack. So insects, when you loot like flies and mosquitoes and all those little creatures for recipes for cooking and your knowledge XP stuff, they don't stack. Each little bug takes up one inventory slot. I'm like, okay, that should be updated. You know, I think it's fine, especially like I said, you're not meant to loot all these things. It's not that kind of game. But for insects, you know, I think they should stack, you know, right? That's kind of funny. Let's see. Looting targeting is often funky, requires too precise of a camera angle. Not always, but it's weird. Okay, I think I'm trying to remember that, because I think I was I think I remember when I wrote that I was probably like inside of a building. And you know, the camera can be funky in any game, and a lot of games where like you're inside a small area. So that's probably when I wrote that down, because I did get used to it to the point where I would have gone back and erased these notes if I realized they were here, because I did like the precision loot, and I did find it very easy to target stuff after I got used to stuff. It's mostly my biggest issue is the slow, sluggish movement. And that's because of the realism. It reminds me very much of Red Dead Redemption 2. That's why I didn't like it. I didn't like that specific gameplay. Let's see. Enemies still remain when you complete a camp. Certain amount required. Others just vanish. Did I write that wrong? When you complete a camp. I think I meant to write enemies don't remain. Okay, well, so for quest, when you go to clear out a camp, apparently like there's a limit, right? Like let's say you just need to clear 10 or 20 enemies, but there's 30 or 40 enemies on the screen, right? This pissed me off, man, until later. I'll tell you that thing too, but initially, and I still don't like it, because like basically if you only have to clear a certain amount of enemies, if you have to clear 10 or 20 enemies and there's 30, as soon as you kill the 20th enemy, all those enemies around you, the quest itself, it'll like go into a black screen and then pull back out and switch camera angles and show that you completed the quest and the mission's over. So the enemies just vanish, they're all gone, even though they were just there a second ago. I don't like that. I think that's weird. I think there should be, you know, like clear out all the enemies that are there, right? You know, so that's just a little weird. Okay, and then I think you probably noticed later, but so part of that too later on what I came across was, oh, there is another note. Actually, it's right after. So another part of that I don't like. So there's that. There's the fact that enemies will vanish after you've completed a quest. But then there are spots. I was at a couple different excavations, and these are ginormous camps. So the camps I was talking about were just little small like bandit camps or whatever that you clear out. And then there's these excavation sites. They're huge, right? And there are different parts of these places that you can clear out section by section as you go through it. But at every entrance to these sections are infinite spawning guards. Infinite. they never stop this. And from what I've seen so far, you know, not further into the game, but it was always 3 enemies, always. And it's like 5 seconds after you kill them, maybe 10 seconds, they respawn again, the same exact spot, over and over, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't freaking stop. Oh, that drove me nuts. It's so horrible, especially when you're already having to deal with this enormous fortress, right? This enormous place that's loaded with enemies. You got archers in them in the towers that are shooting at you while you fight the dudes off the ground, and there's just enemies everywhere. And then if you're too, not even like super close, not even like being right on that you know, entry point or whatever, they just keep coming. And it's horrible. And I also noticed that actually happens at the outer camp levels as well, that are near an excavation. So there's a little campish area spot outside of the excavation, not inside of it. But on the road, those 3 enemies will spawn over and over and over and over again. Doesn't matter. And I'm like, these need to have proper friggin' timers, dude, you know? Like, I wouldn't even mind like 5 minutes, but like 10 seconds on the, like, no, this is ridiculous. That's insane. Let's see. Oh yeah, I had invested enough skill points for an ability. So which really, the skill tree is actually really cool. And each of these abilities you upgrade individually. So not only do you unlock like new abilities, but you also upgrade that to make it stronger. And then as you make that stronger, you unlock newer things, newer perks, and newer abilities that go along with that as well. So I was looking at the abilities and what they did and stuff, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I did see that they cost a lot of stamina, but I didn't know how much stamina my character had. I guess I could have tried to go find out or whatever. But I ended up investing into upgrading my ability so I could unlock this other ability that looked really, really cool. But I can't use it because my character isn't high enough level to have enough stamina to actually spend the stamina on the ability to use it. So I have this ability unlocked that I can't use, which is just really dumb to me. That's just terrible. Oh yeah, constantly being fined upon entering a territory. I have actually looked this up because I kept seeing like this pop up all the time. I'm not rich, man. It's hard to get money, kind of. I mean, I'm not hard, but you don't get rich as quickly and stuff, right? So I looked it up because I was like, what the hell, man? Every time I enter this territory, I'm like around this area and I come out and leave and go back in, it's giving me a fine. And the fine is small, it's like $3 or whatever, but still it happens nonstop. Like I'm nonstop getting fined, and I'm like, dude, this is freaking dumb. So that's annoying. So I ended up looking that up, like how the hell I get rid of this crap. And when I first did get like with the bounty or whatever on my character, it did explain like, you know, whatever, but it's weird. I don't like it. So anyways, I apparently have to go to like a church or something and then pay off some things so they stop fining me every time they see me. But it is stupid though. I think it's really stupid that you're literally fined every time you like leave the area and then come back in, unless that's a bug. I would hope that's a bug because it's just stupid. All right. Oh, this is just a quick bug note I noticed, and I only tried it once. I didn't want to see what happened every time. When learning Force Strike specifically, this was, I think, an earlier ability. When you learn like a new ability, it gives you the option to open your talent shortcut menu, or to just, I forget what the other option was, but just unlock it, or to also switch what the shortcut is. And as soon as I opened the shortcut to change the keybind, I guess, or whatever, which is weird because they don't really have keybinds, which is probably why it crashed. And that was the only time it crashed on me. It crashed one time on me so far in the 11 hours that I played, and that was from what I'm assuming was a bug because it happened when I did that. Like, I think something just happened because the keybinds are not working exactly the way they're supposed to or something. I don't know exactly. Anyways, so that was weird. Let's see. Oh, this is just a note about the graphics. Now, when I had seen this gameplay video that I've had on loop, this is what sold me on the game. I watched this whole thing and I was like, that's amazing. And I already thought it looked really cool a year before this video even came out. I was following this game. I thought it looked amazing. I couldn't wait for it. This video was what made me pre-order it. I might have done so anyways, but I was still chilling, you know. But then I saw this and I was like, yep, 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 yep. But one thing I did notice all the time was the graphics weren't very impressive. Like they're nice, there's good graphics, but they're not impressive. This isn't God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted. It's not finely detailed. It's nice, it's good looking. But one of my thoughts was like, I was like, oh, you know what? It's kind of reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima or Nier Automata, which are not ugly games. And I would say Ghost of Tsushima is better looking than Nier Automata. Kind of, they're different styles though. But they're not highly detailed. They're good looking games, but they're not highly detailed. I think this one has maybe a little more detail, but it has that kind of style to it where, and I believe that's just for optimization, right? Like, I have no doubt this on like Uncharted level graphics would probably break everything. It'd be too much, you know. And it all has a high requirements to play it on ultra. I thought, anyways, but oh yeah, I forgot. I'm playing on 1080 instead of 4K. That's what I've been doing for a while. I do have a 4K monitor, but one of the things I noticed early on when I was playing games at 4K is it depends. I actually I forgot I was gonna try this game on 4K just to see if how different how different it might be. But for several games I switched from 1080p to 4K. The differences were so minor that I was like, I'm fine with chilling on 1080p. Well, one of the main reasons I stick to 1080 is because it's easier to upload screenshots. 4K screenshots are really rough as far as uploading and sharing them. But Lost Ark was one of the only game I can remember being a noticeable difference between like 1080p and 4K, and it wasn't like super drastic, but it was nice. Like I'd rather play it on 4K because the detail was noticeably better, you know. But it wasn't like some huge, enormous thing. But it was nice. Anyway, so that's my experience with 4K. Like it is nice to see. But I don't need it. 1080p is still fine for me. So that's what I'm playing. I was playing this game on 1080p with maxed out, and the optimization has been great. It's running smooth. I have not had any issues at all. I'm just saying that was my experience. Was performing really well. Let me see. Oh yeah, I already mentioned this whole control for precision jumping and targeting. Don't really have to use it, yeah, other than those little small spots. I thought it was especially weird that people were, because I had seen there's been so many complaints on the forums about the precision jumping for the platforming, and I was like, dude, you if you ever played any game where you jump in, you can tell you don't need a precision jump for those platforms. I was wondering, it made me wonder, like, there's got to be a part somewhere in the game, right, where that's gonna make more sense to have that precision jumping, because like I was just running, I was jogging and sprinting and jumping and was fine. Like it didn't need to do any precision jumping and stuff. So that was just funny. Oh, so a few complaints that I've seen on the forums. These are just some few notes that I have left. I thought was really funny. One of the early bosses is kind of like a duel fight that you end up in a challenge, right? Like you come across this NPC in the town, and he challenges you to a duel. Basically, I don't remember the exact story, but that's basically what happens. Now, I'd seen people throwing a fit on the forums talking about why would you add QTEs in the middle of a boss fight? And I was like, oh, is this more like God of War? Because I hadn't gotten there yet. And I love God of War. God of War, the older games had the best QTEs compared to most games back then. And they did have some, I'm talking about the older trilogy and stuff. There was some, crappy QTEs, but in comparison to every other game out there that had QTEs at the time, God of War had the best ones. They were freaking epic. It's the only way to experience like these boss fights in that way. They had to do it. You had to do quick time events for those specific animations, and how the camera would zoom out super far, show you this enormous creature and stuff like that, right? So the combat was still cool, but the QTEs added cinematic effects to it and stuff. So when I first read that, I was like, holy crap, does this game have like badass, super cool, crazy stuff going on? That one fight, and then this is the only one I've seen so far. But midway through the fight, he has a health upgrade, right? Like you're fighting this little boss guy. And as you beat his first health bar, he switches. They do like this little phase change. It's a little small cinematic, and in the middle of that health bar change, there's one single key press, one single key press in the middle of that fight, one. And people were throwing a big ass fit over. I was like, this is what you guys were complaining about? That's wow. Anyway, so that's a funny one. The other one, oh, arm wrestling. There's an arm wrestling little mini game, and I'm wondering, hoping there'll be actual mini games like throughout the world that you come across, maybe like that. But this was quest related, and everybody threw a fit about that one as well. And I remember like when I was first doing that little arm wrestling quest, I was like, what the hell? This is weird. But it was just, what I thought was crazy about it was like, I beat it on my first try. It's a button masher, and then in between the button mashing, there's a timed button press. So you button mash, and then a little thing pops up showing you what button to press, and a little bar goes around a circle, and you have to hit it at the right time or whatever. And I'd missed it a few times. So button mash, button mash, button mash, and then the timer comes up with the little press. And I thought I was gonna have to continue. I was almost all the way done, right? Like I'd almost lost. I wasn't expecting this to go on so long. We're almost done here though. But I was almost lost. There's this little meter thing or whatever, and my hand was all the way down at the bottom. I was like, oh, this sucks, man, whatever. But I had learned it by that point. I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. Like, I got this. And then almost at a loss, complete comeback, first attempt, done, passed it. And it's a big, dude, I saw 3 or 4 posts, people saying they wanted a refund just for that one part. And I was like, this is what we deal with now, I guess, right? You know, it's just hilarious, man. Complaints about the camera angles. I like the camera angles as far as there's like, this was an interesting one because I'm not used to it in a third person type of game like this, where instead of zoom in out and zoom out like in a natural transition of like you controlling how far, there are 4 set perspectives, I think, maybe 5. But you know, when you click up and down on like the mouse, whatever, you're not actually like adjusting it at where you want exactly. There's just preset views that you're switching between, right? They even have a first person view, which is cool. I thought that was neat. I like the camera angles. I actually like them a lot. The only one I don't like is the one just after first person view where it's literally like behind his head, and you see like this is my hand is as much space as the back of his head, and then you can see this much like your hand space. Like the screen is like, I can't see nothing except the back of his head, and I'm like, why is this even a camera angle? That's the only one that's really stupid. But I like all the other camera angles. I thought they were pretty cool. The other complaints I've seen is people trashing on the story. Now, I like the story so far, man. I thought it's loaded with like magic stuff. There's a lot of interesting things going on. Main character, not very interesting to me. And I even thought that in the previews and the trailers and stuff. And I was like, but what sold me was the gameplay. I was like, the combat and stuff. I was like, dude, that looks amazing. Yeah, so I had already expected not only the graphics not to be like super impressive. Like I said, that I like him, but I also knew I wasn't going to be interested in the character really. You know, I figured I might get to like him more as I play through the story and stuff. His name Cliff, really stupid generic name, which yeah, so a lot of people are trashing on the story, but I've enjoyed the story so far. I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Oh, that just made me think of a thing. Oh yeah, and then lastly, with some final thoughts, whatever, I just saw a post, I think today or yesterday. Apparently oh yeah, because there was news about like apparently this game was rushed at the end, right? Like something happened, leadership changed. Reminds me of Anthem a little bit, and actually a lot of these games go through this, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so a lot of stuff changed, and then they rushed to launch or whatever. Weird. But apparently the Cliff's name was originally going to be McGruff, And I saw that and I was like, who would even think that's better? Like, that's so. McGruff is as stupid a name as Cliff. Cliff is a stupid name, especially for your, like, your main character. It's just like, why would you even leave that as his name? That doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, whatever. But also, what I thought was really funny is I was like, McGruff, you might as well just tell me his full name was Cliff McGruff, like, because that's what it sounds like. Sounds like perfect, right? Cliff McGruff. It sounds very stupid. I don't like either name. I think it's dumb, and I laugh at putting them both together as a full name, Cliff McGruff, whatever. So anyways, yes. Oh yeah. Now, so the reason that I actually want to uninstall and forget the game even exists is just I have, for a few hours now, I have been running around trying to find quests that are in my level range-ish, like as far as I posted on the Steam forum, somebody said there's no levels, and I was like, it kind of is, because you do increase your skills, you increase your hit points, you increase your stamina, and I guess the main focus is upgrading your gear and crafting that in a way. And I was like, I'm like, I mean, I did already enhance my gear a little bit, not like maxed out or anything, but I have already done that, and I'm still having trouble. So yeah, so for a few hours now, I've been running around trying to find. I went back looking for side quests that I passed up, because I was following the main quest. That's what I was doing, and I think I'm either on the third or fourth boss where I couldn't even fight the dude. Couldn't even. He spams these magic. He's like a goblin-looking king type character. He's cool looking. Might be the third boss. I don't remember. He's third or fourth boss. But he was spamming magic spells at me, and I was like, holy crap, that was the first time I'd seen something like that. And he just spams magic. He just is like, and they're not like, he's not like casting lightning bolt exactly at me, but a lot of power abilities, and it's cool as hell, his spells basically. But he spams them, and I can't take him. I mean, it's too much. And that was after already upgrading my health. I had changed like the couple pieces of gear that I had gotten and stuff like that. It's possible I have enhanced my gear now since having fought him. It's possible that maybe the enhancements I did might make it so I could fight him again, but I didn't want to do that because I got to all other bosses that I can't fight, and I'm already having to waste time trying to grind. And I'm like, I was expecting an action RPG game where I don't need to stop what I'm doing to grind to fight this one enemy. But apparently other people were expecting that, and that's what to expect or whatever. So once I saw that, once I realized that, I was like, oh wait, this is what people thought this was going to be? This is what it's supposed to be? Because it didn't look that way to me at all. The one thing I had seen was like, the difficulty will be based on areas and the zones you're in, as well as upgrading your gear. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's like any other action RPG. Kingdoms of Amalur is that way. Skyrim is that way, right? Like, those games have the same kind of a thing. So I don't know. This one is weird. I don't like it as far as the way it's balanced in that sense. So I have to, and I don't mind going back and looking for side quests. It's just I haven't found any. Like the ones I'm finding are taking me into newer areas that I'm going against harder enemies already. Like it's not fun. It's not fun. Like, I usually do enjoy doing side quests and checking out these side missions and exploring more of the world and stuff without rushing through the main story. Like, but this isn't really working out that way so far. So, after the most recent side quest I was working on, I've got a couple now where you start them in their chains, right? They start like this one little objective, and then the more you get into that quest, it does get higher level and stuff, and you doing more things and stuff. So that's cool. I actually like that. So that's what's happening right now. I'm kind of getting stuck the further into the quest chain I'm getting. I can't do anything because it's too high level for me and stuff. And I'm like, this is dumb. I'm used to being able to actually complete side quests rather than end up in areas that I shouldn't be or whatever, So, I'm already gonna go back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and complete more of that, as I still have a couple more DLCs to play. I still have a bunch of open world stuff that I just want to do for the heck of it, and it's more fun to me. So that's what I'm like, dude. Like, I'll try this if I'm in the mood again, but I'm already ready to just uninstall and forget that it exists. And I would have gotten a refund if I could, and not to trash on the game. Or I would rather just wait for a sale and spend too much money on it at this point. But that's just how I feel now after, like the first few hours I was really digging it, man. I was into it. I liked the story, I liked the combat a lot. I did think it was too easy early on, especially like the intro with this huge battle and it's just all face roll kind of stuff, um, but I also knew that from like this specific video, like everything looks way too easy, but it looks fun and cool, right? So that's what people were talking about, like comparing it to like Souls or whatever, the Dark Souls stuff. It's like all the enemies are easy, but the bosses are hard. And I'm like, well, it's not going exactly that way that I was expecting. Because again, do you ever see them compared to a Souls game? Because I didn't. This isn't called a Souls like. I guess now it should be, right? Open world. Well, I know those games are open world too. Yeah, so it's weird. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2 meets Souls, kind of. which to plenty of people that is going to be popular. This is a huge hit, right? Like I know that while saying this stuff. I'm not here to trash on the game. I'm just sharing my thoughts, sharing my experience. And I have, like I said, I've never completed Red Dead Redemption 2, even with the many hours, just mostly because the gameplay, realism, and the animations and the slowness of all that it bothers me. I don't like it at all. That was the freaking ability I got. I got that ability. I unlocked it, but I can't use it because I don't have the stamina to use it. I saw it, like in the ability tree, it shows you what they do and it gives you a description. And I was reading it, I read a couple of them, and I was like, I have to have that. That looks so freaking amazing. So I unlocked it and I can't use it. I'm like, you bastards. Hey, crap, that's funny stuff. All right, anyways, so yeah, that's my experience so far, and I expect to try more just because I own the game, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna go play something. This is ridiculous, man. The devs did say they plan to make some improvements based on feedback for the movement. I'm a little worried about that because I actually enjoyed the movement overall and generally the interactions. I think they're good. I actually like the like all the complaints talking about the way you interact with NPCs and loot and stuff. I don't know why they're forcing themselves to use the precision button because they were told to in the tutorial, which kind of makes sense. But I'm like if you just play the game like normal, you can see that you can play the game without that button. You don't need to do that. I think that was just to let you know this is for certain things or whatever, right? But it's kind of funny. I guess I can understand because it is one of the first things they tell you and teach you is how to use the precise targeting button or whatever, which you almost never have to use, dude. It's so funny. But the movement, I generally agree with people. I would like it to be smoother, but mainly, I think the mainly is just the speed, the pacing for like walking, jogging, and sprinting. I think the sprint itself is fine. I think the jog speed should be the walk speed. Maybe get rid of the walk. Maybe have the walk. Well, no, have an option, right? Have the default running speed be the jog, and have the sprint still be the sprint with one button press, and then switch the walk to a toggle on or off. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has that as well. Many of these types of games have that, right? Like you have your regular kind of joggish run, then you have your sprint, and then you have a walk that's almost nobody ever uses for the most part, right? I think that would be better because I don't hate the way that you move and stuff like that, but it's interesting. It definitely feels a little sluggish because of that speed, that pacing of it, and especially the transition between. It reminds me of Mass Effect Andromeda actually a little bit, is the animation between running and like regular walk. It's just this weird transition because the animations change and you have to wait for the animation to happen. So the same thing, like if you halt after a sprint in this game, your character will still continue like 5 steps because they're just slowing down. That's the realism aspect to it, right? It's so friggin' annoying. Yeah, so I'm curious of what exactly they're gonna do. I think it could use a little bit more fluid transitions. But it also, as far as I can tell, that it's the way it's meant to be. The style of the game is meant to be this way. It's meant to be realistic, and that's why it's that way. Like so if that's just the way it's meant to be, then so. But Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. It is a mix too, because plenty of people are saying, leave it the way it is. Don't listen. And I get that. I like a lot of changes are made in a lot of games based on bad gamers, like straight up bad gamers. That happens all. I see it all the time, and I'm like, why? Like Mind's Eye is a good example. They made that game easier. It didn't need to be made easier, dude. Oh my god. They made so many updates to the gameplay, making it easier, and I'm like, that's the last thing this game needs, man. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna go now. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.